I'm just going to put this right here, ma'am.
Okay. No problem. Not in your way. Let me slide over some.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Actually, I'm just going to go right up behind you, okay?
Okay.
So just don't go back, okay? Wow. You count that one?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. My name is Daniel Wallace, and I'm the President Judge here in Mercer County. The Mercer County Courts are truly honored to host this ceremony. This courtroom is an ideal venue for this ceremony because I consider it the Veterans Courtroom. I say this because this courtroom has served as the home of the Mercer County Veterans Treatment Court for the past 9 years. Additionally, 5 of the 6 judges who have presided in this courtroom were veterans of the United States Army. Ironically, the 6th judge to preside in this courtroom, Judge Amrine, was in Normandy this summer for the 80th anniversary celebration of D-Day. He participated in a reenactment of the airborne operations that occurred before D-Day. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this means he voluntarily jumped out of a perfectly good airplane. In addition to his World War II paratrooper uniform, Judge Amrine wore one of those GoPro cameras on his helmet to prove to us that he made the jump. I was quite relieved when Judge Amrine reported for duty in this courtroom after returning from France. I will now hand this ceremony over to the true master of ceremonies, World War II veteran advocate, Eric Montgomery. Eric?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. This is a wonderful day here in Mercer, and seeing everyone here in this historic courtroom, in this historic courthouse is just so inspiring for these gentlemen. Thank you, Judge Wallace, for your kind introduction, and welcome to this beautiful courthouse here in Mercer. I've been here to this borough several times, but never inside this beautiful, beautiful building. For it is only fitting that this program be hosted here, for it is truly history in the making. What an honor it is for me to accept the gavel to preside over this ceremony today, especially from a graduate from the United States Military Academy, West Point, and a combat veteran. Judge Wallace, thank you, not only for your service to the community, and to that as our nation as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, mesdames and messieurs, I welcome you to the celebration of liberty and freedom as we honor 2 brave and honorable men and their storied history. We gather in a place, in one shape or form, where the principles of our constitutional republic have been litigated since 1807. The painting behind me depicts the goddess of justice as she bears witness to a case in civil law, truth and justice in the balance. Yet matters of law and order must wait to another day. For as some 80 years ago, William Alfonsi and Dominick Aluisia left their homes, their families, and all that knew them to undertake what General Eisenhower described as a great and noble undertaking. Thank you for honoring them and each other with your presence here today. At this time, in this dignified setting, I would ask you to please rise if you are able. Place your hand over your heart, and for those in uniform, spread your honors as cadets from the 19th Squadron of the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Color Guard present the colors. Cadets? And now, friends, I would ask you if we could stand for just a few more minutes. And please remain if you are possible. If you are physically challenged in any sort of way, you may want to sit down, and no one will look at you in any sort of way and disparage you. Please take your seats if you're in that category. At this time, I'd like to introduce Miss Joni McFarland as she performs the expanded rendition of our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Ms. McFarland, the stage is yours. I have never heard that before we started planning this program. And as I got to know Joni, we got to talking about World War II and Congress Park and Sergeant Joseph Dominick. So this rendition of the national anthem is not only important to this pomp and circumstance here, but in remembrance of her father. He was I want to give you a little bit of history here. Sergeant Joseph Dominick served the United States Army as part of the 30th Infantry Division, and he arrived in France a few days after D-Day. Fought through northern France, Atlantic, Central Europe, and Germany itself. He was wounded, recovered, returned to the line, and upon returning to his unit, was regrettably captured, spending the rest of the war in German POW camp. Thank you, Joni, for your performance. Before we progress a little further into our program today, I would like to take a moment to recall the servicemen and women who have served in the cause of liberty and freedom. Many came home from duty at home and abroad with memories and experiences too difficult to forget. Yet sadly, some gave much more. Friends, I ask you to please join me in a moment of silence, remembering those who have given that last full measure towards that righteous cause. Thank you. Let me take a few moments of your time to introduce this amazing panel of presenters and dignitaries that have come here to honor William Alfonsi and Dominick Aluisia. We'll start at the top. Madame Caroline Monvoison, Consul General of France in Washington, D.C. Monsieur Matthias Bartlett, Honorary Consul of France in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Congressman Mike Kelly, House of Representatives, Congressional District 16. Brigadier General John R. Pickey, Director, Joint Staff, Pennsylvania National Guard. Representing Senator Bob Casey Jr. and Senator John Fetterman, District Manager Kyle Hannon. Representing Pennsylvania State Senator Michelle Brooks, District Director Melinda Bosser. Pennsylvania State Representative Clark Wendland, right here in Mercer County, 7th Legislative District. Thank you, Clark. Pennsylvania State Representative Martha Brown, 9th Legislative District, representing Newcastle. Mr. Marty Robinson, nephew of Mr. William E. Alfonsi. Mr. Sean Holtzapper, grandson of Mr. Dominick Aluisia. The Mercer County Commissioners, Chair Ann Coleman and William Finley Jr., and Tim McDonald, who could not be here today, as well as Mercer County Veterans Affairs Director, Mrs. Tammy McLaughlin. The Lawrence County Commissioners, Chairman Ann Vogler, Ann Kennedy, Chris Sianato, along with Lawrence County Veterans Affairs Director, Mrs. Jessie Putnam. The Lackawanna Township Supervisors, chaired by Homer Johnson and Commissioner Robert Chrissy. All veterans present, and a very special welcome to the previously presented Legion of Honor recipient, Corporal John DeRisco. He's 98 years of age and turning 99 at the end of the month, last day of the month, right, John? He's a combat medic in the 35th Infantry Division. He earned his Legion of Honor in 2017. I had the honor of advancing his nomination to the French government. As well as every veteran in this room, I thank you so much for your service and your sacrifice for your families. And of course, seated to my right are Technical Sergeant William Alfonsi and Technical Sergeant Dominick Aluisia. introduce Marty Robinson to you. Like most post-war families, the Alfonsis were quite close. I know my families were at the beginning of the Vietnam War. With cousins spending summers and holidays together, despite these distances that separated them. Sadly, Mr. Alfonsi's older sister, Vera, lost her husband, Marshall, early on in life. And from that moment, Bill Alfonsi became a father figure to Harry's young son, Marty. Marty's dad was no ordinary man. A waist gunner aboard B-17 flying fortress in World War II. Staff Sergeant Marshall Dale Robinson served with the 401st Bomber Group from November 1943 until just before the end. A recipient of the Silver Star Medal, he flew on 33 combat missions, 6 of which were over the heavily defended capital of Germany itself, Berlin. I'd say Uncle Bill had big shoes to fill. To share with us his testimony on his uncle, I ask you to be kindly welcome Mr. Marty Robinson.
Thank you, Eric. On behalf of my Uncle Bill, I want to thank the French government, those representing France who are here this afternoon, and everyone who's worked so hard putting this program together. I reviewed the list of all those involved and quit counting at 17, so I won't name anyone individually, but thank you, and I know Uncle Bill really appreciates it. My father passed away on a very cold and snowy Saturday night in December 1962. A neighbor and a good friend of my parents drove us to the hospital. My mother, grandfather, and I arrived back home from the hospital about 11 p.m. After a long time, I finally fell asleep on the couch. When I woke up, Uncle Bill was snoozing in a living room chair. He had driven 80 miles in the middle of the night in terrible weather, so he could be there first thing in the morning to guide my mom and I through an extraordinarily difficult time. I asked him what time it was, and he gave me his watch. I wore that watch all through junior high and most of high school. In 1955, Uncle Bill bought a whole rundown farm in the state of Squad. In the early 60s, he had completely renovated the house. This was the first of many renovations. And the property had become known as the Red Gate Farm, the focal point of the Alfonsi family activities. For years after my father's death, my mom and I spent every Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter at the Red Gate Farm. For the first 3 years, neither my mom nor I had driver's license. The Honorable would shuttle us back and forth to the States. That's 2 round trips, 160 miles each. Bill would be back at the house, putting together holiday meals and adding the final touches on the holiday decorations. Interior decorating and design is Bill's profession, a passion, and he is good at it. I speak in the present tense because I think he's still a decorator. He could have been a set designer for the Holland and Germany. I know my mom spent many of her happiest holiday hours by the fireplace in the perfect seasonally decorated living room of the Red Gate Farm, sipping brandy, talking with her brother Bill. When she was sitting there, she knew her brother Bill was taking care of everything. He was really able to lighten the burden of being a widow and a single mom. Uncle Bill was always an innovator and entrepreneur. In the late 1960s, he had his own solo interior design business, and then a little later, he had a retail furniture store. I always enjoyed talking with him about the ins and outs of both the design and the retail businesses. Uncle Bill was always supportive of my getting an education, and I know he enjoyed talking with me about higher university. We discovered that even we frequented the same bakery coffee shops in the morning between classes. In 1981, after being a widow for 19 years, my mom remarried. She married Art, the neighbor who drove us to the hospital that snowy December night. And the wedding was at the Red Gate Farm. And Uncle Bill orchestrated the whole thing. One last thing, later after I became an adult, Uncle Bill gave me a second watch, the one I'm keeping track of time right now, and the one I carry only for very special occasions like this one. Uncle Bill, our lives have been intertwined in many ways for a long, long time. Thank you very much. And thank all of you for listening. I hope I gave you some insights into the Alfonsi Law and extraordinary.
Thank you, Marty. Appreciate that very much. You know, when I first met Bill Alfonsi back in December of last year, when he told me what he did is decorate funeral homes, I got to thinking about it. And I said, there's a lot of thought that goes into that. And you know, obviously, we're to assuage the bereavement of the family, but it's just so very interesting that our chosen path throughout our lives. So, thank you. Thank you, Mom. A little over a year ago, I became aware of Dominick Aluisia from a mutual friend in Pittsburgh. And I live in Tennessee, so we understand our tin cans were stretched pretty big there. Somehow my friend Dominick's grandson Sean got into a conversation about veterans, and in no time, that discussion quickly focused upon Sean's grandfather, Dominick. A short time later, I was on the trail to reach Sean and contacted him through Facebook to learn more about his grandfather and what he did in World War II. Like most World War II veterans I know, Dominick's humility kept most of his stories locked away, literally locked away in the info file. After snooping around Grandpa's basement, Sean discovered a unit yearbook tucked away, most likely for decades, in that book. That discovery and Dominick's service within that unit led us here to Mercer today. Until today, I hadn't actually met anyone in the Aluisia family, and today was the first time that I actually got to meet Dominick, so I'm thrilled with that. And we worked together, Sean and I, over the phone to chronicle his history and draw maps and where he went, where he did it, and how he did it, how he got there. And that's been my complete joy in building that nomination for Dominick Aluisia. So, Sean, you have known your grandfather your entire life. And I just met him just a half hour ago, so that I've known so much about him. God bless him, God bless you. Please come up here and give some testimony when you're here.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this amazing day. And thank you, everyone that was involved in making this possible. Eric, thank you most of all. This is just, I don't even know what to say about the things that you do for these guys that deserve this, and it's just amazing. And I was talking to Eric a couple of weeks ago, and he asked if I could get up and maybe just share a few memories of my grandfather over the years. And a few things just come to mind almost instantly. And the first one was the old house where him and my grandmother lived. There was an old garage down over the hill. And I remember I would go down there and the deer season would come around. My family's big hunters. So in that garage, there'd be 6, 8 deer hanging in there, skinned, ready to go. And my grandpa would break me off the front leg and give it to me. Hoof, fur, blood, the whole thing, and I would run around with that thing like it just passed through the sword. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And my mom would tell me I'm gross. Wait till I fell asleep and she grabbed it and threw it away. The next day, Gramps would give me another one. There was a lot of deer legs to go through. And then the deer sausage making thing. He let me crank that grinder, we'd make that sausage, and I remember the casings in the whole water. It was kind of gross, but that was always fun. He tried his hand at making wine. I'm sure you guys remember that wine. It was like the kind of wine you had to drink with a fork. Had the consistency of milk and sand, and great flavor, paint thinner. It wasn't great flavor, I guess. But I'll tell you what, he may not have been a great winemaker, but he was a heck of a cook. Him and my grandmother both. I remember they would slave in the kitchen, making dinners, gigantic dinners, the best Italian food you've ever had. And I'll tell you this, you come to dinner for a holiday, you know, like Thanksgiving, whatever, you get spaghetti and meatballs, manicotti, rigatoni, sauce, garlic bread, and a side of turkey and mashed potatoes. That's just the way that it was. He was always doing something. I didn't see him sitting around too much. He had a giant garden, always making things out of wood, a big woodworker. He's probably made more toys than Santa's elves all combined. Trucks, cars, birdhouses, doll houses, just hundreds and hundreds of things. Another thing I remember, we were younger, and he would grab us as when we were kids, give us a big hug, and he'd rub his beard stubble on our cheeks. And he'd be laughing, and we'd be screaming, crying. You know, my cousins know, it's kind of like the rite of passage for the family, I guess. But seriously, he's always been the kind of guy, and still is, that thinks about everybody else, takes care of everybody else first. You know, if he was laying in the hospital recovering from a hip replacement, and he heard that you stubbed your toe, he'd be on the phone calling you to see how your toe is, and make sure everything's good, and, you know, not worrying about himself. That's just the way that it is. And lastly, I would just like to say, when you talk to him, we've talked to him many times about this day and other accolades and honors he's been given for his service. He always says the same thing. I didn't do anything. I don't deserve it. Well, I would like to ask you, Gramps, directly to look around this room right now and see all these people that are, every one of them are here because you do 100% deserve it. And that's why we're here today. And I'd like to thank you for being the best grandfather I could ever have asked for. And being the kind of man that I will always aspire to be more like. And on behalf of myself and the family and friends, we couldn't be more proud of you, Gramps. We love you dearly, and congratulations on this.
You know, Dominick is, that's 202 years of history right there. I'm gonna have to interrupt you, boys. Sorry. Show must still go on. Thank you, Sean. The general's gonna talk next, guys, so you better be quiet. I don't give her the love. Hey, Bill? Okay, let's get the show on the road. God bless him. You have don't hope that I live that long and have that ability to do that. Brigadier General John Pippy presently serves as the Director, Joint Staff, Joint Force Headquarters of the Pennsylvania National Guard. Under his leadership, he oversees the integration of strategic and joint staff issues for over 13,000 soldiers and 4,100 airmen. It's quite a lot you have there. And in that role, he spearheads the efforts preparing the state for contingency operations in either a federally declared or state-declared emergency. A 1992 United States Military Academy at West Point graduate, in 2004 he was deployed to the Middle East during Operation Iraqi Freedom, and then again in 2016 with a combined joint task force in Operation Inherent Resolve. Brigadier General Pippi's awards and decorations include the Combat Action Badge, the Bronze Star Medal, the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, the Army Engineers Regiment's Bronze Order of the DeFleury Medal, and the latter, the DeFleury Medal, originates back to our American Revolution. Named in tribute to French engineer Francois Louis Trezedet de Fleury, who nearly 250 years ago served with the Continental Army in our fight for independence. Appointed by the Continental Congress as the captain of engineers, Fleury himself quickly proved himself through courage under fire, earning the praise of our founding fathers. Not limiting himself to his service in uniform, Brigadier General Pippi also served in the Pennsylvania General Assembly as a 9-year state senator and 7-year member of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. How do you fit all this in? A remarkable and notable career. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brigadier General John Wallace.
Truly an honor to be here with everyone. First, this is the first time I thought we would shatter glass during the national anthem. I mean, it was so moving, so thank you so much. And then to have Marty and Sean come up and share the family stories, it really inspires me as a soldier. I was over there talking to Dominic earlier, and you're right, he said, I don't deserve this. I said, what you don't realize is not what you said or done, but who you've been has inspired families, generations, and those of us who are in uniform today. Some of you probably have noticed the uniform I wear now is the same as the one that the greatest generation wore. This is the Ike jacket that was designed by General Eisenhower to have a more practical uniform while we were fighting in Europe. And we take that legacy seriously. So I'm going to talk about just a couple quick things this morning. As I listened to these stories intro and went through the bios, what really kept on resonating with me was the connections that we have with our French brothers and sisters and allies, dating back to Lieutenant Colonel de Fleury, who led a bayonet charge off Stony Point to capture a British stronghold just south of West Point and during the early parts of our Revolutionary War. And this young French noble who joined the Continental Army and worked and fought for Washington at Brandywine, at Germantown, they were there, our French brothers and sisters were there helping us. And then we returned that favor in World War I and World War II. As part of that Pennsylvania National Guard, we're very proud of the oldest serving Army division, the 20th Infantry Division, that fought in Germany, in Europe against Germany, key roles in World War I on the Marne River, as well as other places. And General Pershing identified and named us his Iron Division, and we proudly hold on the red keystone, the bloody bucket is what the Germans would call it, that Iron Division. And so the men and women wearing that uniform were the ones who were the greatest generation and inspired us. And in World War II, you may not know, but the 28th Infantry Division was the first American division that passed through Paris. And we have a famous photo of Arc de Triomphe, and I hope I said that right, but famous photo of Pennsylvania Guardsmen. And I was talking to a historian, and I learned something, that the French who were very appreciative, and the soldiers who are soldiers, we had an issue with the French providing alcohol, so to the soldiers who were on the edges of the formation. And so if you look at the history books, there was a couple soldiers that fell out of that march. in celebrations with our French hosts. So those bonds are strong and they're tight and they mean something. And so to be here today to honor these great gentlemen, it is a way for me to say thank you on behalf of the men and women. And I'll share this with you. I was asked to talk a little bit about duty on our country. And rather than going into a speech about each of those words and what it means to me, I'll just leave you with this one thought. When you've worn that uniform, and when you've been a family member, a service member who's been overseas, duty on our country aren't just words. There are moments. There are actions. There are lost brothers and sisters. They mean so much. And ceremonies like today are not only important to honor the men who have served and to thank them, but they also are to rekindle those memories. Because we can never forget, ladies and gentlemen, we can never forget the service and the sacrifice of those who have gone before us. And know that not only are you inspiring family members, but you're inspiring future members of our military who will be there to defend freedom with our allies wherever it comes from. So God bless all of you, and God bless our United States and our French and friends. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you so much. I'm from Tennessee, and it may be hard for you to have lived there for 19 years, and originally from Peaceful, Pennsylvania. So I know us mentors here, we really do appreciate our veterans, that's for sure. The little town that I live in, Elizabeth, Tennessee, it's about 10 miles south of Bristol. And what drew me to that town was the remarkable reverence and respect that they paid for their veterans. And I've been asked by several of the Legion posts and deity posts to be part of the remembrance. And to this day, I've done 635 funerals, serving with a variety of different units across Northeast Tennessee. Now, I'm not a veteran, and General Pickey mentioned eye jacket, and I'm wearing today the eye jacket, which was manufactured on June 8, 1944, and given by and worn by my Uncle Steve, who's a candidate for 22nd. So, thank you, General Pickey, and thank you to every veteran again in this room. Born in Pittsburgh and raised in nearby Butler, our next speaker attended the University of Notre Dame on a football and academic scholarship. Following graduation, he returned home to work at an automobile dealership that his father founded nearly 2 decades before. Eager to continue the business that his father began, he took ownership of the Kelly Chevrolet Cadillac dealership in the mid-1990s, and later expanded its operation to include both Hyundai and Kia. Frustrated with the federal government devised Reconstruction Plan for General Motors in 2009, which nearly destroyed his family's legacy and the livelihoods of over 100 employees, he decided to run for Congress. Successful in his bid to represent nearly 750,000 people in 2011, his focus of improving education, combating poverty, and funding cancer research were just a few of his ongoing initiatives. Honored and humbled to represent the values, interests, and concerns of the 16th District, Congressman Kelly models his work within that regard, within the House and Ways Committee today. Considered to be a no-nonsense, straight-talk orator, Congressman Kelly has made an impact not only on the citizens of northwestern Pennsylvania and his colleagues in the U.S. House of Representatives, but America as a whole. Ladies and gentlemen, please kindly welcome your Congressman.
Thank you all. It's good to be here today. I had the honor in June to go to Normandy to commemorate the 80th landing. One thing I can tell you, if you look behind me, the French flag and the American flag are red, white, and blue. Now, there's reasons for that. There's no two countries close to a line than France and America when fighting for freedom and liberty. So when I have an opportunity to be at a place like this, at a time like this, honoring men like this, I think about this year being there on Normandy. My father-in-law was part of the landing. He did not make it home like he went to Utah. And they lost contact with him, and the family thought that he had been lost in action. His sister never gave up. They found him about 7 months later in a French hospital recuperating from the wounds he received at that landing. So when we sit here today, and we look around this room, and we come into this building, and tread on the same steps that so many before us have tread on, there is no way we can take any of these things lightly. There's no way that we can ever be casual about the price that has been paid for us to be here today. 1.5 million men and women in uniform have given their lives for us to enjoy moments like this. And I think it's become too casual. And I think back, when I look at these two gentlemen's contribution, I don't want you to think of them the way they look today. In Normandy, on June 8th, I watched over 100 of our veterans make their way to a stage where thousands and thousands and thousands of our French folks were standing and cheering them and cheering them and cheering them. And I thought as I watched them make their way onto the stage, they were not in their late 90s and early 100s. They were back 17, 18 years old, who were so brave to go into a battle against an enemy that was the most seasoned in the world. They had already run roughshod over Europe. They were unstoppable. We had 17-year-old, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old members of our military, knowing that, still went into that battle. They feared nothing. They knew that their mission that day was so critical to the freedom of the world needed to experience, the liberty that had to be shown, the protected. And I think, as I get a chance to sit here, or to stand here, and be with you all, I would just ask everybody, the sacrifices that were made by these men at that time, going into the breach against the most formidable enemy the world knew at that time, and knowing that if they lost, Europe would be lost. We would never be able to get a foothold again. And just think of the chain reaction that would. So, when we talk about patriotism, I keep looking at patriotism, patriotism. I'll tell you what it means. Love of country, love of something that you just put so far above your own safety, your own life, that you are willing to go into the breach, go into the battle, because you feel that way. You just will never back away from that challenge. You will never duck that responsibility. I don't think we can realize today, 80 years later, that heroism has been took to go there at that time. They were 16, 17, 18 years old. They said goodbye to their families from off to war. They gave their mother a kiss goodbye. Maybe they gave their sweetheart a kiss goodbye. Saying, I'll be back. I'll be back. But I've been called to a greater service right now. And I will not flinch. I will not back away. I will not cower away from the mission that I'm on. So when you talk about patriotism, you look at these two gentlemen. These are the people we need to talk about in our schools. These are the people we political conventions. These are the people we need to talk about at dinner, at mass, after mass on Sunday, after service, whatever it is. We cannot ever forget the sacrifice that was made by so many for a world that is eternally grateful that they stood in the storm and faced it down. So when I hear about your stories about Grandpa, I think a lot about my dad, what he had gone through, my father-in-law. When I talked to him about it, I got to tell you, he was also at Normandy. When I talked to him about it, I said, so he's gone now. I said, so Dad, tell me about Normandy. He said, I remember. I said, really? He goes, no, I don't remember. I said, why? He said, because I came back. Too many of those other kids never did. When we talk to our men and women in our service, think about that. Think about what they're willing to do, the price they are willing to pay, the sacrifice they are willing to make, the time they have put in, the challenges that they face. And that's one thing. America never backs down. The greatest challenge requires the greatest people. So to be here with these two gentlemen today, they are truly part of that greatest generation. And while sometimes I think back and I say, my gosh, I can't imagine what it's like. It can't. I want you to think today, as those young guys, look at their pictures that went off, not knowing that they'll ever be back here. And for us to take a few minutes today to be able to thank them. We love you guys. We love you guys. You are the greatest example of Americanism we can ever see. So thank you so much for being here with all today. This is a very special moment. This is a very special moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman Kelly. What a thrill it was to be in Normandy for the 80th anniversary. And one of those crosses belongs to my great uncle, Mr. Normandy at June 6th. This past September, I had the privilege to meet Consul General of France for the very first time. She was quite new to the embassy staff. In fact, her first official ceremony, much like this one, was for World War II veteran Edmund Lewis. Sir Lewis's presentation was one of the most difficult ceremonies logistically I've ever had planned. Delayed by COVID and then again by Hurricane Ian, Sir Lewis not only had one but two formal ceremonies. Looking back now, if it were not for those two delays, we would not have ever connected until about an hour ago. A native of Fort de France of the French territorial island of Martinique, she was assigned to the consulate last September, and in that role oversees the relationship between France and the United States with the states of Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Virginia, the District of Columbia, and West Virginia. An accomplished career diplomat, Consul General Monvoison entered the French Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs in 2005. In her 19 years of service, she began her career in the Department of French Nationals Abroad and the Consular Administration. And then as part of the Department of Strategic Affairs, Security, and Disarmament. She then joined the European Union Directorate as head of the Frankfurt-German mission. From 2016 to 2020, she was the Consular of France's permanent representation of the European Union in Brussels, Belgium, and in charge of France's representation in European institutions. From 2020, she returned to the consular field as a project manager specializing in the implementation of e-voting for consular elections, and in 2021 for legislative elections in 2022. Until her most recent assignment as Consul General in Washington, D.C., she served as a political officer for the Director of the Department of French Nationals Abroad and the Consular Administration of France. A graduate of the Rand's Institute of Political Studies, as part of her studies abroad, she spent a year in America as an exchange student at the University, or Colorado State University. Mesdames and Messieurs, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my privilege to welcome to Western Pennsylvania and the borough of Mercer, Consul General of France in Washington, D.C., Monvoison.
Dear honored veterans, dignitaries, and guests, France can never repay the debt it owes to the thousands of American soldiers who helped liberate our country. We are a free country today thanks to their sacrifice, your sacrifice. But we can continue to honor them and to honor you in the company of your loved ones. A few weeks ago, we commemorated the 18th anniversary of D-Day. It was a solemn occasion and an important opportunity to reaffirm our enormous gratitude toward the American people and all our allies. And you can be sure that we will never forget. I am well aware that without your sacrifice, I would not be standing here today. It is therefore with a full heart that I congratulate you, Mr. Alfonsi and Mr. Aluisia, on the award you are about to receive in recognition of your service and dedication. We have so much admiration for the bravery you both showed during that dark time in history. Your heroism helped to forever seal the deep friendship that has existed between our two countries for some 250 years. France is proud to be America's oldest ally and the first country to recognize American independence. We must cherish and defend this special relationship because it is in the most difficult times that we recognize our real friends. That was true in Yorktown in October 1781, as it was in Bellewood in 1919, and on the beaches of Normandy in 1944. Both of you fought on behalf of your country to liberate France and Europe from tyranny and totalitarianism. You are true heroes. You risked your lives to free the people of a country that wasn't your own, and that is why today I am about to bestow upon you the insignia of the Legion of Honor. The order was founded in May 1801 by then First Consul Napoleon Bonaparte to reward exceptional services rendered to France by civilians and military personnel. It has remained the most prestigious French decoration and one of the world's most coveted honors. The French president himself, the order's Grand Master, signs off on each and every nomination. In receiving this award, you join the ranks of more than 300 American veterans, including President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Mr. Alfonsi, you served as an intelligence gathering specialist, conducting clandestine operations behind enemy lines. Your file, which noted your creativity and skills as an amateur inventor, so impressed General Patton that he invited you to become one of his operatives. You were only 19. You entered the service the following week in December 1942, and after doing your basic training at Camp Ordre, Missouri, you were sent to Fort Monmouth in New Jersey, where in July 1943 you joined the 118th Signal Radio Intelligence Company. You were subsequently sent to Beatty Park Station in Virginia, the U.S. Army's cryptography school for counter-espionage training. On January 18, 1944, you set sail for Europe aboard the Ocean Mail. You arrived in England at the end of the month and were sent to the combined American and British Intelligence Center and then onto Gulfport in Kent, England for additional training on intercepting German radio traffic. In April, the 118th Signal Radio Intelligence Company to which you were assigned became operational. Not long afterwards, you boarded a small L-2 Grasshopper airplane in the middle of the night and parachuted into occupied France. Your mission was to scour the region in search of secret German installations. Working with an underground contact, you soon discovered a unit of 1,500 German soldiers equipped with tanks near the city of France. At the end of the war, you were sent to Rosenheim, Germany, to aid in the repatriation of displaced people, and then on to Camp Sins, a displaced persons camp near Luxembourg, where you were part of a group that vetted scientists for relocation to the US. You returned to the United States in November 1945 and received your honorable discharge on December 1st. Throughout the conflict, you acted heroically in unforgiving conditions amid ever-present nature. More than once, you had to rely on your will to survive and on your friend and colleague Walter Phillips, with whom you trained before your deployment and with whom you served throughout the duration of the war. I want to be sure we also remember him. Mr. Alfonsi, you have already received a number of medals in recognition of your actions, your courage, and your exemplary conduct during World War II. The American Company Medal, the Army Good Conduct Medal, the European African Middle Eastern Company Medal, and the World War II Victory Medal. In awarding you the Legion of Honor in recognition of everything you did for France, I am proud to add another decoration to that list. So now, I will bestow the Legion of Honor upon Mr. Alfonsi. After learning the fundamental techniques necessary to the battalion, among other things, how to operate a mobile power generator, you receive additional training in integrating and operating new top secret mobile radar technology and pyramid radar searchlights. Toward the end of November 1943, the 234th first loaded onto Springfield, Florida, where the unit scanned the skies for incoming aircraft and received further training. Finally, in August 1944, you arrived in England. On September 23, 1944, you boarded the HMS Rapier and the next day disembarked onto Utah Beach amid sunken ships and scattered equipment, the devastation of war. After a few days, you received your first mission to secure the port of Cherbourg by helping to detect and deter enemy aircraft. The port had suffered extensive damage when it was liberated in July, but it remained vital to the French and American navies. In December 1944, your battalion reached the French town of Ordre, as brave and determined as ever. But that night, your base came under attack from the Luftwaffe, reminding everyone that the outcome of the war was still very uncertain. While deployed at Ordre, the 231st aided the 394th Bomb Group in bombing enemy strongholds in Brest, France, and then within Germany itself. The bomb group took part in the Battle of the Bulge from December 1944 to January 1945, targeting communication, transportation, and supply centers. The searchlights proved vital in illuminating the airfield so that these bombers could locate the field and land safely. The bombing raids continued with steadfast support from the 231st until the end of April 1945. Between Cherbourg and Germany, your battalion helped some 4,000 Allied aircraft land safely. That enabled some 40,000 men to return to base and fight another day. Without that contribution, victory would not have been possible. After VE Day, you were reassigned to guard German prisoners and help displaced civilians find their way back home. In March 1946, you finally set sail for the United States, arriving back in America on the 13th. 5 days later, you received your honorable discharge. Mr. Aluisia, in recognition of your actions, your bravery, and your exemplary conduct during World War II, you have already received a number of medals: the American Company Medal, the Army Good Conduct Medal, the Europe and African Middle Eastern Company Medal, and the World War II Victory Medal. In awarding you the Legion of Honor in recognition of everything you did for France, I am very proud to add another decoration to that list. And now I will bestow on Mr. Aluisia the Legion of Honor. Nous faisons chevalier dans l'ordre national de la Légion d'honneur. Who was awarded the Legion of Honor in 2017. May your actions and your dedication inspire future generations and remind everyone of the friendship between our two countries. Lastly, a final word to thank Eric Ordre for his tireless efforts in identifying veterans of World War II who have not yet been awarded the Legion of Honor and allowing France to honor them in the most appropriate way. You are doing remarkable work, and we can never thank you enough. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Consul General. This particular program was really quite challenging because of everyone in the room that you see today. And I couldn't have done it really without a lot of people in this room that helped me. I just want to take a special moment to thank Representative Michael, who really went above and beyond. His staff earlier this week printed all the programs that we ran, and I hope that you can take those programs home and keep them someplace safe where you can look at them and reflect in years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, in celebration of that year, 250 years of friendship between the United States and the Republic of France, Please rise if you are able, as Madame Sophia Ross will lead us in the singing of the Marseillaise, the French national anthem. Ms. Ross. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please take your seats. I know we're running a little late, but, hey, this is a once in a lifetime thing for these members. It's an opportunities to witness a program like this is very rarely included. I want to brag on Miss Ross a little bit. She's my sweetheart. She is the wife of George Ferraris, a great national that was obviously in America. Our American population is certainly been blessed with a melting pot of societies from all over the world, the best societies of all over the world. Corporal George Ferraris was working on the communication lines into France from England. And I went to the very spot where those lines were brought ashore, just to the west of Cherbourg, several years ago. Madame Ferraris was born in Greece, and as a little girl, she played an active part in the Greek resistance learning French while combating enemy occupation. Her husband George earned his and was presented his Legion of Honor in 2018. So let's hear it for George. At this time, I'd like to invite Congressman Kelly to return to the podium and present our newly named Chevaliers proclamations from his seat in the House of Representatives and the people of the 16th Congressional District. Congressman Kelly.
You're all having a good one of the cool things when you get to certain offices, you can take time out of your life and recognize the life of others and how significant they've been for our country. This is Congressional Accommodation. Technical Sergeant Dominick Aluisia. On behalf of the United States House of Representatives, it is my profound privilege to present this Congressional Accommodation to Technical Sergeant Dominick Aluisia of the Pennsylvania, a valiant veteran of Battery 8, the 231st Searchlight Battalion, United States Army. Technical Sergeant Aluisia entered the service on January 18, 1943, and served with distinction throughout World War II. As a power generation specialist, his duties were critical to the battalion's mission, which relied on mobile generators to provide reliable electric power to the unit's searchlights and radar equipment. Without his expertise, the illumination and tracking of aircraft essential for the protection of the Allied forces would not have been possible. During his service, Technical Sergeant Aluisia was involved in several key operations. In October of 1944, his unit moved to the port of Cherbourg, providing a protective umbrella over the city by using searchlights and radar to track aircraft and naval contacts. Later, during the Battle of the Bulge, the 231st Searchlight Battalion supported light operations of the 394th Bomb Group at Conrad and Eugene airfield, ensuring the safe return of bombers and crews under diverse weather conditions. His unit's efforts were vital in aiding approximately 4,000 Allied aircraft and returning safely to airfields across Europe. Recognition of his service, Technical Sergeant Aluisia was awarded the Army Good Conduct Medal, the American Campaign Medal, the European African Middle Eastern Campaign Medal, with one campaign star for Northern France, and the World War II Victory Medal. After the war, he was reassigned to help guard prisoners of war and assist in the repatriation of displaced civilians from all across Europe. Technical Sergeant Aluisia was honorably discharged on March 18, 1946, after having made significant contributions to the success of Allied operations in the post-war recovery efforts. In recognition for his exemplary service, Technical Sergeant Aluisia has been rightfully awarded the prestigious French Legion, and there's a Medal of Honor, United States Congress proudly honors Technical Sergeant Dominick Aluisia for his outstanding contributions to our nation and for his enduring legacy as a protector of the liberty. Sergeant, we could not be more honored to be with you today, presenting this foundation to you. Somebody from the family. I'll present. Sergeant, together. Alfonsi. He was still alert over there, I'd say. He was in his medal, holding his medal. This is great. Well, on behalf of the United States House of Representatives, it is my distinct honor to extend this congressional commendation to Technical Sergeant Sgt Alfonsi of Hermitage, Pennsylvania, a distinguished veteran of the 118th Signal Radio Intelligence Company, United States Army. Technical Sergeant Alfonsi entered his service on December the 12th, 1942, and served with extraordinary courage and dedication during World War II as an intelligence gathering operative. He was paired with Walter Phillips, a Native American Indian, and together they specialized in counterintelligence. These guys are behind the line. So think about it. They were with the battalion. They were by themselves and they were trying to get information. I think that's so incredible. So I continue to read this. So the operations behind enemy lines prior to the invasion of Normandy in June 1944, Technical Sergeant Alfonsi and his partner parachuted into occupied France, where they joined forces with the French resistance. Blending into the countryside, they reported enemy positions and troop concentrations back to the Allied command, playing a crucial role in the success of the invasion. Their efforts, including the destruction of an enemy garrison poised to counterattack the Allies, are a testament to their bravery and the perseverance of the Allied effort against tyranny. For his valor and dedication, Technical Sergeant Alfonsi was awarded numerous commendations, including the American Campaign Medal, Army Good Conduct Medal, European, African, Middle Eastern Campaign Medal, with 5 bronze campaign stars for Normandy, Northern France, Rhineland, Ardennes, and Central Europe, and the World War II Victory Medal. Following the war, Sergeant Alfonsi continued his service by aiding in the repatriation of former enemy soldiers and displaced persons in Rosenheim, Germany. He also contributed to the vetting of scientists for relocation to the United States at Camp Sims near Luxembourg. Technical Sergeant Alfonsi was honorably discharged on December the 1st, 1945, having rendered distinguished service to both this country and the cause of freedom. In recognition of this executive service, Technical Sergeant Alfonsi has been rightfully awarded the prestigious National Order of the French Legion of Honor. The United States Congress proudly honors Technical Sergeant Alfonsi for his outstanding contributions to our Navy, for his enduring legacy as a protector of the free. Truly an incredible man.
Thank you, Congressman Kelly. There's more conflicts, so my friends in the Navy here are going to come and collect those from you and put them over on the table. Those want to take pictures of those citations after the closing of our event. They're going to steal those guys. They want them There's more to come.
You're not giving. You won't give it.
Regrettably, Senator of the United States Senator Bob Casey could not join us in person today. However, Senator Casey is representing represented by his regional manager, Mr. Kyle Hannon. Mr. Hannon will present our newly awarded Chevaliers letters of achievement and appreciation behind Senator Casey. And I know that the families were, and the veterans were sent letters to their home from Junior Senator John Veteran. And they represent the great citizens of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Kyle.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me to this very prestigious celebration. I'm honored to be here and represent U.S. Senator Casey. I'll just briefly read the text of both of the Senate convocations and try to combine them for our honored attendees. Honored gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to join with your family and friends in congratulating you as you're presented with the Legion of Honor by the government of the French Republic. Mr. Alfonsi, this is a wonderful recognition of your valiant service in the United States Army as part of the 118th Signal Wing Intelligence Company during World War II as an intelligence gathering specialist. Mr. Aluisia, this is also a commendation of your valiant service in the United States Army's 231st AAA Searchlight Battalion during World War II as a portable power plant operator. Honored gentlemen, it is an honor to extend my warmest congratulations as you receive this medal marking your contributions to ensuring France's freedom. Please accept my sincere gratitude for your service, and I hope you take great pride in all of the work that you perform on behalf of the defense of our country. Sincerely, Boss Casey Jr., United States Senator.
Thank you, Council, very much. Appreciate that. So from the federal level, we moved out to the state level. And, you know, obviously, when a fellow gets a punch Legion on, the first thing they're going to do is find a venue, find a willing partner in organizing a program like this, and reach out to every federal, state, local representative that they can, as I say, the power, because these opportunities are so limited. You have to be aligned to these countries in mind. And when our youngest World War II veterans came home in '97, it doesn't leave a lot of time to make things happen. So moving on to the state level, regularly, Pennsylvania State Senator Michelle Brooks of District 50, Pennsylvania State Senate, could not be here with us today due to work. In limited roster, Senator Brooks' district director is here to convey Senator Brooks' sentiments and salutations on behalf of the office and the citizens of Senate District 50. Ladies and gentlemen, please kindly welcome Ms. Aluisia.
For inviting me. It is my privilege to be here on behalf of Senator Michelle Brooks and the Senate of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to say thank you to these gentlemen serving our country with honor and distinction. And I would like to present these Senate citations prepared especially for them with heartfelt gratitude and appreciation for this well-deserved honor. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
2015, Representative Park County has served both the 17th Legislative District and most recently, since 2022, the 7th Legislative District. The district contains a portion of citizens from Mercer County and encompasses the cities of Greenville, Hermitage, Sharon, southern portions of Jamestown, and those of Lackawanna Township, home of Chevrolet Alfonsi. On a personal note, as I mentioned previously, it was through Park's contacted me, told me about Bill. Park knows that I do a Pearl Harbor ceremony every year on December 7th down in Pittsburgh. And he says, "Where are you?" And I said, "You know where I'm at, I'm on my way." He says, "I got a friend that I want you to meet." And so a day or two later, I was up here in Hermitage to interview Bill. We had a nice conversation for about an hour and a half. We got to know each other, so it was a real thrill for me to be part of Bill's ceremony today. I think it was the submission to the French government. So without any further ado, please, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your state senator from this area, or excuse me, state representative. I'm sorry. State Representative Park.
So like you, I'm humbled to be here today to witness these incredible men receive the distinguished award for their courage and service. Without the bravery of these men and the tens of millions of Allied forces fighting for our freedom in World War II, we'd be living in a very different world today. If not for the sacrifice, who knows when the Axis powers would have stopped with the things. But thanks to their unparalleled bravery 8 decades ago, freedom won. And these men left their homes, their countries, and even their continent to stand up for what is great. It took an unimaginable amount of courage to serve during World War II in any capacity. What these two men did went above and beyond the standard of duty. Because Technical Sergeant Alfonsi resides in the legislative district and I have the privilege of serving, I was honored to be with him on his last few birthdays. I called my friend Eric Montgomery, as he had said, to inform him of Mr. Alfonsi's service in liberating France. With Eric's help, Mr. Alfonsi qualified for the French Legion of Honor. In near record time, President Macron approved his application and signed the forms May 7th of this year, which happened to be the 70th anniversary of the start of the surrender documents being signed, which would officially end World War II in Europe. The U.S. already knows that this 100-year-old man from Mercer County and one of our own is a hero. Now the people of France will know just how much Technical Sergeant William Alfonsi did to help win back their freedom. Congratulations for this distinguished award. I can think of no one serving. So as a commissioner of the Pennsylvania Historical Museums Commission and a committee member of the America 250 PA, I must mention the historical significance of having a representative, or representatives, plural, from France here today. Nearly 200 years ago, General Lafayette of France did a victory tour in the United States, which I'm sure you're aware of from history books. And on the 45th anniversary of the Revolutionary War, circa 1824, and he was right here in Mercer County. He actually came here to honor his friend from Butler, actually. Came up from Butler on the way to Naville, and he gets stopped here. So Brigadier General Z. Mercer was here in Mercer. And he was killed in the Revolutionary War, and it's said he wanted to come here to honor his good friend, Mercer, General Mercer, from the Revolutionary War. So I do want to thank President Judge Dan Wallace, Judge Dan Ryan, for your standing staff here at the Mercer County, and the Mercer County Commissioners for hosting us in this beautiful space today. Thank you, General Pitney, for accepting my invitation to be here with us today. He also visited the Shenango Valley for the Vietnam Unity Hall. If you remember that, coming through the Shenango Valley maybe 2 years ago. We also dedicated the PA Middle Highway Unity. Legislation I did dedicate that across all of your county. So thank you. And I did come to 5 and came to visit. We share a common mentor. And Senator Bob Robbins, and Senator Robbins is here with us today too. So thank you for your service too, Senator Robbins. Thank you, Congressman Kelly, for your pledge today, for keeping your support for the country and all those you represent. And finally, we're almost finally. Thanks to Eric Montgomery for working with the French government in our office, and all of your efforts, and all the work you did behind the scenes to make this happen today. And finally, thanks to the French Consul General for being here and coming all the way up from Washington D.C. and all the work that you do. Again today, thank you to all the veterans that are here, be honored, veterans are among us, and God bless America.
Thank you, Representative Lemon. I know Bill gets a real kick out of the youth of America, and these two young cadets here, thank you so much for your pending service to our great United States and the freedom of liberty across the world. Representing Pennsylvania's 9th legislative district since December of 2022, Newcastle native Representative Marla Brown serves the citizens of Lawrence County, the city of Newcastle itself, the numerous surrounding territories that include Shenango Township, which is the home of Sgt Aluisia. Ladies and gentlemen, please kindly welcome Pennsylvania State Representative Marla Brown.
So Mr. Aluisia, who is about the same age as my grandfather would have been, who also served in World War II. He was born on the east side of Newcastle, an area that I'm privileged to represent today. So I thought it would be interesting to understand a little bit of what was going on in that area when he was born. John Schofield Wallace, the commander-in-chief of the Valley of Newcastle, began looking for a building site for the Scottish Rite Cathedral in 1924, with construction beginning in the fall of 1924. The cornerstone was laid on Wednesday, June 10, 1925. The keynote speaker was the illustrious James Isaac Buchanan. This coming June 2025, the cathedral will celebrate its 100th anniversary, which we're very excited for. Charles Young and other leading citizens formed the Lawrence County Historical Society in 1938 to preserve the area's rich local heritage, and they were so helpful in giving me some of these facts, so I thought I'd mention that as well. Around the same time, the first ship lost in World War II, the USS Reuben James, was torpedoed near Iceland by a German submarine U-boat, the U-552. In March 1941, the USS Reuben James became part of a force to escort convoys sailing to Great Britain. This force escorted convoys as far as Iceland, after which the convoys became the responsibility of British escorts. One of the sailors on the USS Reuben James was Newcastle native Wilton Loyal, or Bud Taylor, a 1939 Nika High graduate. On the morning of October 23, 1941, Bud telegraphed his mom telling her he was leaving on his fourth trip to Iceland. On October 31, 1941, the USS Reuben James was torpedoed near Iceland. The Reuben James had a crew of 136 enlisted and 7 officers. A total of 92 enlisted men and all officers were lost that day. On January 23rd, 1968, the USS Pueblo, with 83 crew members aboard, was hijacked by the North Korean. The U.S. maintained the ship, which was in international waters, but the North Koreans insisted the Pueblo had reportedly entered into its territory. Seaman Robert W. Hill of Elwood was one of the crew members captured. He was a 1966 graduate of Lincoln High School and enlisted in the Navy in July 1966. During their captivity, the crewmen were subject to torture and beatings. Hill and his crew members were released on December of 1969, and he and the other crew members received POW status for their time in captivity in 1990. The Pueblo was the first U.S. Navy vessel commandeered since the American Civil War. In 1931, a new restaurant, the Coney Island Lunch, which I know Mark frequents, opened at 11 South Jefferson Street. It was renamed the Post Office Lunch in 1933. Newcastle is known for many things, but one of the things we're most proud of is that we are the fireworks capital of America. This title is a direct result of an influx of Italian immigrants that came into Newcastle and settled around the 20th century. The first was Leopold Pizzoni, who came to work in the tin mills, but later established his own fireworks business and was issued the first certificate of fireworks manufactured in the common law. One other who followed Pizzoni's lead was Antonio Zambelli, and he's of Zambelli fireworks fame. So, also included in the group was Constantino Vital, who eventually formed Pyrotechnico in 1994. Two fireworks firms remain in Lawrence County, and because of their history, Newcastle officially became known as the fireworks capital of America, which we're very proud of. The most recent Lawrence County native to attain the rank of Brigadier General is also the county's first woman to do so, Marilyn Chiapullo, who was born and raised in Newcastle. Mr. Aluisia, who, as I understand, is now one of the oldest to receive this award, now joins that rank. I had an opportunity to talk to his son last night, and he has two boys, one daughter, and from what I can gather, is a man of dedication. He had been married to his sweetheart for 78 years. Here's a man that stays committed to his family. I hear that he still celebrates Family Tuesdays with his family, which is a testament to who he is. I'm very proud and honored to call him my constituent, and I'd like to present him with this citation from the state of Pennsylvania recognizing his award today.
At this time, I'd like to invite Brigadier General Dominick to return to the podium and present on behalf of the governor of the state of Pennsylvania and the citizens of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania letters of recognition celebrating our newly awarded veterans.
Good afternoon again, everyone. It is truly a privilege to be here on behalf of the governor, Governor Shapiro. But a lot of people realize each state is different in how they manage their veterans and their military forces. In Pennsylvania, that connection between our veterans, their legacy, and those who serve today is very strong. So the Adjutant General, Major General Mark Schindler, on behalf of the governors, manages not only the 17,000 service members, or lead the 17,000 service members, but we also have over 3,000 civilians that serve our 700,000 veterans we have in Pennsylvania through our 6 veteran homes and our county services in every county. So we were very proud. On behalf of the governor, our Commonwealth is forever indebted to our service members for their selfless contributions to the people of this great nation. Pennsylvania understands the tremendous sacrifices made by our veterans, having demonstrated a steadfast commitment of loyalty and dedication to face the forces of evil. We remain inspired as we stand in the shadow of their legacy. By answering the call, our veterans linked in their common cause and exemplified by action, and their common cause exemplified by their actions have allowed us the ability to enjoy and practice our rights and explore our opportunities every day as free people in a free nation. He commends Technical Sergeant Alfonsi and Technical Sergeant Aluisia for their bravery and devotion to this nation and to our Commonwealth. May their great honor stand as a true testament to their character. As Governor, on behalf of Pennsylvania, he extends them his great heartfelt congratulations on this momentous occasion and wishes them continued success. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Again, we are here at Mercer County Courthouse, and I can't thank enough the commissioners from the courthouse and also the judicial branch in welcoming us here for this special presentation. It is a beautiful place, and I encourage you to look up when you walk out, because it is quite impressive. At 101 years of age, Sir Alfonsi is one of the oldest citizens of Mercer County, and although he's only lived in this county for a short time, nevertheless has earned the respect and admiration of the Mercer County Commissioners, and one of the county's most cherished efforts, that of the Office of the Mercer County Veterans Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, please come and welcome the Mercer County Commissioners, led by Chairperson Ann Coleman and Commissioner William Pinley, accompanied by Veterans Affairs Director Mrs. Tammy McGraw.
Good afternoon. Welcome all of you to Mercer County. We're very proud to have you here in our courthouse. We're very proud of our building, and we're very proud also of our veterans. It is nice to see everyone here today honoring these gentlemen who are very worthy of these honors. So we all are very familiar with the citations, and I will not read ours, but on behalf of the Mercer County Commissioners and all of our residents, we congratulate both of you for all of your service, and thank you for making this possible for all of us to be here today, protecting our freedoms and our liberty. I'll turn it over now to my colleague, Commissioner Finley, who'd like to say a few words.
I thank everyone for attending today. It's a very special moment. It is with great pride and dignity and honor that we are here today to present this. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tammy McGraw. I'm Director of Mercer County Veterans Affairs. This was very short notice, so I apologize. Mr. Alfonsi is one of our veterans. We work very closely with him, and we just love him to death. We talk to him a lot on the phone. We try to help him as best we can. We in Mercer County, in our office, we represent we have about 8,000 veterans in Mercer County. We're trying to go with that. And we feel a lot of times those 8,000 veterans they walk through our office. And it's our job to assist every single one of them the best way we can. It's a lot of work. We have 3 staff members in our office, and we working with all of our veterans. It's really, for me, as a Gold Star spouse, it's a privilege and an honor to be able to give back to our veterans. I just want to thank Mr. Alfonsi for being one of our veterans in Mercer County. Mr. Aluisia, too. I've got to hear both of them speak, and they have a lot of great stories to tell. If you ever have a chance to talk with them, please do, because it's quite a privilege to hear what they have to say and what they did for our country. So I want to thank everyone again for being here. Eric, thank you for planning this, and congratulations, Mr. Alfonsi and Mr. Aluisia.
Thank you, Commissioners, and welcome. Now, definitely the oldest guy in the room. We're almost, never been here all the time, and I want to thank you for your patience. The oldest man in the room by about a month is Dominick Aluisia. Christmas upcoming will be 102 years of age. Also, at the age of 101 years, President Mercer Aluisia is one of the oldest citizens of Lawrence County. Now, with that, he is probably the distinction of being one of the oldest people in the county itself. I'm not sure the voting rolls and all the rest of that they keep track of. We can't do math past 10 down in Tennessee, so. Like Sir Alfonsi, Sir Aluisia has also noticed I'm changing the titles for his name. He's no longer Mr. It's Sir. You present a resolution honoring Sir Aluisia. Ladies and gentlemen, please kindly welcome the commissioners from Lawrence County, led by Commission Chair Dan Bowler, Commissioner Dan Kennedy, Commissioner Chris Singer, and accompanied by Lawrence County's Veterans Affairs Director, Mrs. Jessie Fowler.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here today. I'm Commissioner Chris Laws, my colleagues, Commissioner Dan Kennedy, and Commissioner Bowler, weren't able to be here, so I'm here on behalf of them, as well as myself, and Jessica, our Veterans Director. Dominick, it's been an honor to know you. I had the privilege, in my prior career, to chair the House Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness Committee for 12 years. As General Bibby and I go back to our time in the legislature. It's great seeing you today. So Dominick, I had a chance to honor you back in 2006 when you honored the World War II vets in Lawrence County. And 18 years later, we're honoring you again for this great honor. It is so good to be here, and it's so good to see you, and thank you for your service and this great veteran from Hermitage, Parks constituent. It's an honor to be here too, sir. Over 200 years of honor and dedication to this great country. So I thank both of you for your service. Thank you for everything you've done to our country, because it's people like you give us, as elected officials, the opportunity to be here in a free country. As Congressman Kelly alluded to earlier. We're free because people like you and women who make those ultimate sacrifices. So I thank you for your service. I'm not going to read this as well, because I think our legislative delegation of Congressman expressed it very eloquently of what you've done. So thank both of you for your service, and I will present this to you. Just want to say a few words. Just our veterans rep, she's dealt with Dominick, and
So I asked you, I didn't want to say anything. I really appreciate your saying. So I'm going to be really brief, because like Tammy, I think we just got on the spot for this. Yes, my office has worked with Mr. Alf for a while, and the family thought history to the city in front of us, and I hope everybody does take this. and takes it home, and please just understand what these gentlemen have been through, and listen to their stories, because they're definitely lost. So, again, we thank you both for your service, and it has been an absolute honor to sit with you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much for our friends from Lawrence. We're almost to the finish line. Thank you so much. A few weeks ago, the superintendents from Shenango Township honored Sir Aluisia in a separate ceremony in their town hall. I believe that's what it was. Likewise, the township supervisors would also like to express their sentiments as well to Sir Alfonsi. Much like everything that has been said here tonight, it certainly recognizes Sir Alfonsi's service and being one of its oldest citizens of Blackmore Township. So I present this on their behalf to Sir Alfonsi. I'd like to say a few words on my own behalf, helping these two gentlemen that are 58 and 59 World War II veterans. I've helped them one way or the other achieve this honor. And I know the clock is ticking. And as I mentioned before, we have to be allowed to receive this. So sadly, earlier this year, I was working on another ceremony for tomorrow down in Steubenville, and that gentleman passed away, Robert Moran. So, deep regret, he did not get this ceremony that Sir Aluisia and Sir Alfonsi received today. But I just did want to mention that these are the ones. Back in the day, I delivered my local newspapers to about 50 homes on my street. And little did I know it then, I was surrounded by heroes of nearly 20 of those homes being owned by World War II veterans. As a little kid around 10, I finally knew that my granduncle Izzy, his brother Ron, was killed on the beaches of Normandy. And his neighbor, George Flowers, who was a tough Marine, who never once talked to me about his experiences in the Pacific, but he really didn't need to. And even how, to this day, I still remember plenty of Japanese rifles and flying standing from his den in his home is a true testament of his character. I wonder if I was too afraid to ask him how he got them, or maybe he was a little bit too afraid to tell me. As I got older, I became a lot more interested in World War II and learned about the men like Alfonsi and freedom, that their freedom is not free. We have to learn it. You have to protect it. And when it's been taken away, you have to fight to win it back. 80 years ago to this very day, August 23rd, 1944, the citizens of Paris were battling for their own freedom. 80 years ago today, Adolf Hitler ordered Dietrich von Holtitz, the commander of the German garrison and the military governor of Paris, to destroy the city. Hitler said, Paris must not pass into the enemy's hands except as a field of ruins. Imagine, our friends here, imagine our veterans. Imagine the people of the world, what it would be like if that happened. With the Allied armies advancing towards Paris, citizens of Paris, led by resistance, took back their streets and their liberty. Within days, the Champs-Élysées, as General Pippi commented on earlier, one of the world's most famous thoroughfares saw 2 million Parisians watching with pride as soldiers from the French, American, and British armies parading a victory after nearly 4 years of enemy occupation. Many of those men were, like General that we had mentioned, 28 infantrymen. The majority from Pennsylvania cities and towns just like Mercer and Newcastle. And although there were many battles yet to fight, the liberation in Paris set the table for the hard-fought victory to come. Fast forward almost a year, at the end of World War II, General Douglas Ordre exclaimed, "My fellow countrymen, today I report to you that your sons and daughters have served you well and faithfully with a calm, deliberate, determined fighting spirit of the American soldier and sailor." Forged in the crucible of war, one of those characteristics through advancements in technology and science. That generation, which we call in our time the greatest generation, applied both triumphs and tragedies to the cause of the greater good for all mankind, friend and foe alike. Men like Dominick Aluisia, Bill Alfonsi, John Briscoe, and all those we mentioned throughout our program today, built the world we are all so very blessed to share. I believe, gentlemen, that I can truthfully testify that everyone in this room values their liberty and freedom preserved by your heroism. I thank you, the liberty-loving people of the world thank you, and the enduring bond of France and the United States will be forever in your debt. God bless you. Brief announcements, and then we'll adjourn after we recover our colors. For a short time, the Consul General of France Station has to get back to D.C. tonight for another event tomorrow, I believe, yes. And and hopefully you could go down to the reception hall for a very short period of time. That's at the Legion Post, 2 blocks from here. So. Tom, are you here?
Yes.
You're prepared for us the entourage to be there?
Everybody, I'm prepared for you.
All right, thanks, Tom. So thank you, Tom, and thanks for your request to honor us with some refreshments after this very long afternoon, but it certainly was worth well. Thank you. So at this time, I would like to ask our young cadets from the U.S. Naval Sea Cadet Color Guard, Greenville, to return to the colors of retirement. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand if you will. And take part in this continuing our program this afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. Alfonsi family, wish all of the French delegation and other Consul Generals, First Senator Taylor, Cody again, our work First General, thank you so much for being here. And all the years and everybody who helps these 2 guys live a better life. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. As they say in New Jersey, it's manja time.
wonder if they were, that's funny. But how's the race looking? Gonna be tight? I mean, that's what they say. Well, looking at the poll, that's good.
Yeah, we're just, so I spent most of my deployment time with 2nd and 5th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm good friends with the 5th group, Team 595.
Oh, really?
Movie 12 Strong.
Yeah.
I travel.
You look familiar. I don't know how I don't know. Yeah. No, I was only, I've been
Is this yours?
Yes, sir, it is.
There you go. Great job, sir. Yeah. Community help breaking down.
I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm doing. All right.
How you doing? Good, and you? Good.